p.m. in Bafut, 6 p.m. in Betua. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to a third edition of our English Prime News on Camdis Television. We begin this newscast with our major stories. His Excellency President Paul Biya has presided over the opening ceremony of the extraordinary CEMAC summit while calling on all members to put hands on the decks and revamp the ceremony as the CEMAC sub-region has witnessed a blow to health and security reasons. Cameroon will play against Burkina Faso in the opening match of the 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup to take place in Cameroon by January. Incumbent President of Zambia presidential election, Edgar Lungu, has congratulated his main challenger, President-elect Hakainde Hichilema, as they made this day a sign of democracy. We have details in a moment to come. Thanks for joining us. If you are just tuning in, this is the 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis Television. An extraordinary CEMAC summit has taken place this day in Yaoundé. While presiding over the ceremony, His Excellency President Paul Biya urged member states to put hands on deck so as to revamp the CEMAC region that has been hit by health and security reasons for some time now. Tabi Klassen compiles the result.
The extraordinary summit of CEMAC heads of state has opened this afternoon at the Unity Palace, presided at by Cameroon's President Paul Biya. The Yaoundé video conference CEMAC summit is intended to bring some answers to the worries plaguing the sub-region. First, the issue to be addressed is how to revamp the economic sector, which because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the CEMAC zone is now witnessing the fall in oil prices. The objective, amongst others, is to renew the commitment to the program of economic and financial reforms within CEMAC and the entry of CEMAC countries into the second generation programs with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Economic revival, yes, but we cannot talk economic development when the sub-region is witnessing socio-political crisis. In Chad, many are yet to accept that a Déby has replaced another Déby. Day in, day out, Jamena is on alert as some rebel groups want to overthrow the power in place. In the Central African Republic, the story is almost the same as the Seleka rebels are yet to digest the re-election of President Archange Faustin Touadéra. In Cameroon, the Cameroonian army is yet to completely eradicate Boko Haram activists who are still causing havoc in the far north region. Separatist activities in the northwest and southwest is also a major blow to the economic welfare of the CEMAC zone. The security challenges are there, and coupled with the difficulties brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, there is really no choice but rather than to strategize on reawakening a crumbling economy which needs reforms in order to subscribe to a structural transformation of the economy towards greater diversification and sub-regional integration, intensify the fight against corruption and promote a business climate suitable to private investment. That is the challenge. Hopefully that pertinent resolutions be arrived at by the end of the Yaoundé summit.
Cameroon is amongst the 6 members of the CEMAC zone. It is referred as a junction country because it links Chad to the sea and the Central African Republic. It is also known as Cameroon in miniature due to its geographical and cultural diversity. Ruth Fonyon took interest in this and gave us this report.
The Central African Economic and Monetary Community CEMAC, created on March 16, 1994 in Jamena, Chad, it became operational after the treaty's ratification in 1999. The resumption of regional cooperation in Central Africa implied a general review of UDEAC's agenda and objectives, adaptation to the regional and global context. Member countries of CEMAC are Central African Republic, Congo, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Chad, and Cameroon. Cameroon is a CEMAC member because it is a junction country in the CEMAC zone and it access way for landlocked Central African Republic and Chad to the sea. Cameroon equally serves as a breadbasket of the CEMAC countries such as Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. It is also linked to the 5 other member countries of CEMAC by road. CEMAC aims to promote peace and the harmonious development of its member states in the framework of establishing an economic union and a monetary union. Cameroon is one of the founding members of the 6-member zonal grouping and represents its economic locomotive. The visiting CEMAC Commission chairperson reiterated Cameroon's position during the September 26, 2019 Unity Palace discussion. President Paul Biya is the person piloting the most cherished economic integration ambition of the 6 member states of the organization. As testimony of being the economic live wire of CEMAC, Cameroon hosts the head office of the Bank of Central African States, which serves as the central bank of the member states. What to note is the fact that Cameroon is often known as African in miniature because of its geographical and cultural diversity. CEMAC represents a market of 42.5 million people spread over more than 3 million kilometers square with huge natural resources. Nearly half of the population live in Cameroon, which contributes 28.6% of regional GDP.
We now talk sport that is making headlines in the country. 24 teams have successfully grabbed their tickets to take part in the 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup that will be taking place in Cameroon. Due to the ceremony that took place at the Yaoundé Conference Center, it was a golden opportunity for the 24 groups that were qualified to know their opponents so as to better prepare for the upcoming competition that will be taking place by January. We have more in the following reports. Barely 4 months to the opening of the African Nations Cup, let's take a flashback on the various teams that have successfully grabbed their ticket to take part in the big sports rendezvous. Cameroon, host country, has been qualified amongst the 24 other countries for the 25th time. Privileged to be amongst the best by Algeria, holding the title at the African Nations Cup in 2019. Egypt, known for their first regular outstanding performances, has taken part in the African Nations Cup for the 25th time. Ghana, Tunisia, Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal, finalists in the 2019 African Nations Cup, will certainly come up powerfully to revenge for better positions. A very competitive African Nations Cup for all teams to be at the top, like Gabon. 3 years after their participation, they are coming back on the scene after obtaining their ticket by eliminating the Democratic Republic of Congo. Cape Town especially signs her coming back after not taking part in the competition for about 2 editions. Coming back to Ethiopia, it is a historic event after participating in the African Nations Cup for the 2nd time, exactly 8 years later. An objective to take up the trophy 59 years after. Apart from all teams, they have always participated twice or more. There are some new teams showing up for the very first time. Some of them are Gambia and the Kmer, who got their qualification tickets after defeating and eliminating Togo, Kenya, Angola, some very strong teams. A very first experience as they participate in Cameroon. Moreover, Sierra Leone and the Guinea-Bissau, Malawi, Mauritania, Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso are teams that are amongst the 24 highly awaited to participate in this 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup to take place next January 2022 in Cameroon. We remain with sports, still in line with the 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup that will be taking place in January. The official draw ceremony took place yesterday at the Yaoundé Conference Center. During the ceremony, the CAF president, Dr. Patrick Motsepe, applauded the ceremony and said there is no doubt that Cameroon was ready to host the AFCON next year, 2021. Let's listen to him in the following excerpt.
Tonight is a very special evening because tonight we are launching and we are participating in the draw, and we are absolutely confident that next year in Cameroon, Africa and the world will see amongst the most exciting, the spectators at the stadium and the millions of TV viewers will see some of the most exciting and attractive world-class football. Cameroon has got a proud football history, and we could not have chosen a more beautiful country. I must say, I was surprised before I was elected president that there were people in the media who kept asking me whether the CAF Champions League, Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations competition will take place next year in Cameroon. And that's why I had on several occasions, because they were asking me, do we have a plan B? We should have a plan B because Cameroon is not ready. And my answer was, Cameroon is plan A, Cameroon is plan B, there is no other plan.
After identifying the 24 teams that will be taking part in the African Nations Cup, that is the 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup, by January, there are some teams that were qualified as favorites. We have Algeria, Egypt, Senegal not leaving out Cameroon. Geraldine Nasi completes the story.
The 2021 African Cup of Nations saw its groups drawn on Tuesday, August 17, during a star-studded gala evening in Yaoundé. Cameroon will host the pandemic-postponed tournament Africa's Premier Football from January 9th to February 6, 2022.
To play the game. Talking, it's easy. And we don't judge people with what they are saying. We judge people of what they are doing. So to talk tonight, I'm happy to talk to you, but the job, we have to do it on January, February. And to predict today is just to talk. But a football game, it's 90 minutes and we have to do the job.
Among the 24 nations that will take part in this 33rd edition of the competition, some are considered as favorites of the tournament. Top on the list of the favorite nations is Algeria. The Phoenix of Algeria, who will be facing Sierra Leone, Equatorial Guinea and Ivory Coast in Group E, are the defending champions and are chasing their second straight AFCON win. The team has recorded 27 matches without any defeat and finished unbeaten during the last edition of AFCON in Egypt. Senegal, who will be facing Malawi, Guinea and Zimbabwe in Group B, are the favorites to win in their history. The Teranga Lions had a clean sheet during the qualifiers, finishing first in their group with 4 victories and 2 draws. They have a bunch of quality players.
The draw was quite good. We've got good teams in the same group, but you know, Senegalese is maybe one of the best teams now in Africa. And we need to show that now we deserve to be the first team in Africa. Maybe we have to win all the games to be qualified, to go in the final, to win the trophy. Because we never win the trophy, maybe it's a good time for us to do well and then to be on the top of the continent.
The Pharaoh of Egypt in Group D, who will be facing Nigeria, Sudan and Guinea-Bissau, are always on the list of favorites as far as AFCON tournament is concerned. Egypt has won the trophy 7 times. Cameroon, the host country, who will be facing Burkina Faso, Ethiopia and Cape Verde in Group A, cannot be left out among the favorites in the competition. Winners of the 2017 edition, Cameroon may not have the best team in their history, but have a squad full of young and vibrant players. Playing on their home soil, however, may be an advantage for the team, as Cameroon remains a great football nation with great football legends. Ivory Coast, Morocco, Mali, Tunisia and Nigeria are therefore the outsiders of the AFCON competition.
August 17, 2021, that is yesterday, was the 61st anniversary of the Gabon. This was an occasion where Gabonese in Cameroon joined with some Semak Zone youth to celebrate this anniversary at the Yaoundé Cultural Center. This was an occasion that brought more joy amongst Cameroonians and Gabonese. Geraldine Nasi once more.
Gabonese Republic, commonly known as Gabon, is a country on the west coast of Central Africa. Gabon gained official independence from France on August 17, 1960, after more than a century of domination. Tuesday, August 17th, however, marked the celebration of the 61st anniversary of Gabon's Independence Day. In regards to the occasion, a grand ceremony was organized in Cameroon by the youth of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community CEMAC to celebrate and show their solidarity with the Gabonese people.
We have to be more active, to be more maybe practical to everything that we are doing in order that to call youth to be more united, to be more dynamic in every activities concerning the regional integration or the sub-regional integration. Even at the level of national, we are calling upon the youth conscience to maybe to know the stake that we have today in our different countries. We can talk about the security, we can talk about the health issues, and so many things that we are now trying to see how we can try to bring our own solution by youth.
The ceremony, which took place at the Cameroonian Cultural Center in Yaoundé, saw the presence of the diplomatic representation authorities of Gabon in Cameroon. It was an opportunity for all the young CEMAC people to share their experiences of the challenges and issues of Gabon's accession to independence.
The summer holidays will soon be over. School doors are already open for students to go back to school. During this holiday period, some youth got themselves involved in some petty trades as they feel fulfilled and accomplished. Some of them left from other regions, come down to the central region, especially in Yaoundé, where they carry out some petty trades and that help them to raise some money that is going to go a long way to help their parents buy some of their school needs. We have details with Geraldine Nancy.
The summer holiday is almost coming to an end to pave a way to a new academic school year. Children who left their hometowns to other areas for holidays to visit families, learn a trade and other businesses are however spending the last minutes wisely. In almost all the crowded and busy areas in the city of Yaoundé, such as wrong points, small and supermarkets, these young holiday makers are seen both in the sunny and rainy days struggling with their petty businesses. They have an objective, which is to support their parents in paying their school fees and buying other school needs. It is the case with Njoya, the Kolano teller, who left all the way from Bafoussam and has been selling in Yaoundé since the summer holiday began.
I'm here in Yaoundé so that I should be able to sell this business. Don't want to do this business I'm doing here so that I should help my parents to pay my school fees since I'm already a big boy. I cannot allow everything to them alone. So that, inshallah, by the grace of God, tomorrow I should be something in this world. Maybe they can form even a history about me.
According to him, the kola nut business is a profitable one as he gets to save at least 2,000 francs every day, which permit him to be able to buy in bulk. Before the end of each day, he visits about 3 to 4 markets.
In gaining, of course, because I can go to the market, buy this thing, even for 5,000, 6,000 francs like that. Then I make my effort, all my efforts to be able to keep even 2,000 per day. This is only what I'm selling. Because if I gain more, I will buy it now in bulk and keep in the house. Then be selling it small now. Yes.
Njoya is therefore convinced that before leaving Yaoundé to Bafoussam at the end of this month, he must have saved enough for his basic needs and part of his school fees. He feels fulfilled and accomplished, for his journey to Yaoundé was not in vain.
We now take you over out of the country with this cover shot where the incumbent president of Zambia's presidential election, Edgar Lungu, has congratulated his main challenger and president-elect, Hakainde Hichilema. Both men met this afternoon in Lusaka. Edgar Lungu has been in power for 6 years. Accepting a defeat is no doubt a sign of democracy. We now talk health. Stay out of the country. The World Health Organization has provided Cote d'Ivoire with about 5,000 vaccines against Ebola virus. After some examinations that were carried out, it was discovered that an 18-year-old girl who came from another country came in and was tested positive with the Ebola virus. We have more with Ruth Fonyo.
Ivorian health authorities are pressing on with vaccinating residents in a neighborhood of Abidjan where the country's first case of Ebola since 1994 was detected on Monday. Concern is growing after the World Health Organization announced a second suspect. The World Health Organization has identified 9 contacts so far, while no deaths have been reported. Spokesman Tariq Jasarevic said the organization was very concerned about the ability of the virus to spread in the country's economic hub, Abidjan, with a population of more than 4 million. The World Health Organization has provided Cote d'Ivoire with 500 vaccines against the virus, which is transmitted through close contact with bodily fluids, causes severe and, in the worst cases, unstoppable bleeding. Cote d'Ivoire began vaccinating high-risk population within 48 hours of the confirmed case. An 18-year-old woman from Guinea who traveled overland and arrived in Abidjan last week aboard a bus. Ebola vaccination center in Abidjan, August 17, 2021. The aim is to break the chain of contamination to stop the disease spreading. Experts are using the so-called ring vaccination strategy, giving doses to people who have come into contact with a confirmed Ebola patient, as well as first responders and health workers. About 50 people are being placed in quarantine and vaccinated against Ebola, including members of the infected woman's family in Labé in the north. The confirmed Ebola case in Cote d'Ivoire, its first since 1994, is the third outbreak on the continent this year after Democratic Republic of Congo and Guinea.
Dear televiewers, it has been a pleasure. It is with that report that we draw the curtains of our 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis Television. Here are our major stories. His Excellency President Paul Biya has presided over the opening ceremony of the extraordinary CEMAC Summit while calling on all members to put hands on the text and revamp the ceremony as the CEMAC sub-region has witnessed a blow due to health and security challenges. Cameroon will play against Burkina Faso in the opening match of the 33rd edition of the African Nations Cup to take place in Cameroon by January. Incumbent President of Zambia's presidential elections, Edgar Lungu, has congratulated his main challenger, President-elect Hakainde Hichilema, as they met this day, a sign of democracy. Thank you very much for being there. It has been a pleasure. Do not go away. We have news at 8 p.m. in the French language, presented to us by our Director General Jacques Nzi. Stay tuned to more interesting programs on Camdis Television. Have a wonderful evening.